name is Alex, and I'm here with you today. And for those that haven't seen me before, here's a bit of an overview about me. I'm originally adopted from Romania by a German family, and I moved 13 years ago to New Zealand. And today I will be giving you a bit of an overview about international adoptions from a legal perspective. So international adoption globally is governed by two predominant laws, or two international treaties. One is called the Hague Inter-Country Adoption Treaty. It was developed in the late 90s. And the other one is the Articles 20 and 20 country adoptions. There's in Articles 1 to 4, it basically focuses on that adopted children have a right to know their history and their birth family, so basically history. Then there's an obligation that the country that provides the adoption makes sure adoption occurs in the best interest of the child. The country that adopts the child makes sure that the adoptive parents are suitable for the child. And then the fourth one is, once the adoption has occurred, there needs to be a collaboration between the country of adoption. So an example is, I was adopted from Romania to Germany, and Germany had caseworkers that visited my parents regularly to check that I was okay and would have to provide feedback to Romania. So that's some basic examples. The other one is the UN Conventions of the Right of the Child that was developed after World War II, especially after World War II. It was evident that there need to be more an emphasis on children's rights, and Articles 20 to 21 basically focus on the similar things as the Hague Convention, Article 1 to 4. They focus on that the adoption needs to occur in the best interest of the child, and that there needs to be a respect for the culture of the child. However, the interpretation can be really challenging, because some people use that to say that no international adoption shouldn't occur. However, I think the way that some people choose to interpret international adoptions, which is supported by the likes of the Harvard Child Advocacy Program or the Boston Law School, Professor Steers, the suggestion is that international adoption can occur if it passes these requirements. So that it means in a practical step, you look at, for instance, a child is being adopted, you make sure that they're suitable for adoption. It means that they're an orphan, and we're going to use the UNICEF definition of being an orphan, which is a child needs to either have lost one or both set of parents, or the parents must have lost their right to guardianship over the child through a domestic approved court process, which each country has their own process, so each country goes through their own process. So in Romania has their own process, New Zealand has their own process. So they go through the process, make sure the child is deemed suitable for adoption, which is clarifying under Hague Article 1, because that's kind of the goal of adoption, to find children a permanent, safe home. I guess, and the other aspect is more psychological one, to make sure that kid social psychologically, which means basically they have a happy upbringing, but also they get told from an early age on that they were adopted, and that as much family history that the adoptive family has been told will be shared with the child. So yeah, that's a basic overview of the international legal system of adoption. And some deeper things are, for instance, is the cooperation between states. So the way it works with the Inter-Country Adoption Treaty and the Hague Adoption Treaty, what's called the Inter-Country Adoption Treaty, it is the two states, they need to have ratified, which means they need to sign up a treaty, an agreement, but then it becomes, they need to ratify it, which means it actually needs to be signed by it, needs to be put into the domestic law, or needs to be reflected in the local country. So in New Zealand, we've got the 1980s Adoption Act, which is a reflection of the Hague protocols, or articles and protocols. And with the Hague Inter-Country Adoption, they've got actually every 5 years, those countries that have agreed basically to the treaty and they practice it, they meet in the Netherlands in Den Haag, or The Hague in English, where they actually review things. So they call it state parties, so like government representatives of the adoption agencies. We also got non-state parties, so people that have been agents, representatives that's supposed to represent people come there. However, there's a big forward that a lot of people, even those that for or against adoption, feel that there's not enough actually adoptee representation at those global events where actually they make law or policy recommendations. And I think that's an area where there's great improvement could be needed, because the people that have got the best experience or inputs are the people that have experienced adoption. So there should be a way moving forward to find a way how adoptees can articulate what happened, what the adoption experience was like, from the positive to the, areas where there could be improvement or not so positive. And I think an area where there's definitely a lot of potential to further develop is, being in New Zealand or all of us, is due diligence, but also making sure that adoption does occur in the best interest of the child. There's a lot of global countries have actually decided to put a halt on international adoptions because international organizations, sadly, such as the likes of UNICEF, they don't favor international adoptions because it's not always, which is a bit sad, because adoption should be in the best interest of the child, and it's always a balancing act, and I think we've at the moment lost that balancing act. It would be great to hear your feedback on international adoptions, especially the law, the laws or policies around it. It would be really great to hear your input. So in summary, I gave an overview of what is international adoptions, which is the Hague Treaty or Convention of International Adoptions, focusing on the well-being basically of the child and due diligence. And then there's also a wider United Nations framework of the UN Conventions of the Right of the Child, which Article 20 to 21 says the culture of the child should be respected and their background, but also adoption should occur in the best interest of the child. So look forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback. Thanks.